Coming up on the official Celtic FC Podcast, Didier Agathe reflects on his playing days, sharing brilliant stories and memories from his time in Glasgow, and he explains how Martin O'Neill made him fall in love with Celtic.
But I realised afterwards why Martin asked me to sit by myself in the stand. He wanted me to understand what it means to play for Celtic, what it means to have his jersey, and I think that's important.
Hello and welcome to the official Celtic FC Podcast. I'm Matthew Campbell and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the one and only Didier Agathe. Didier, thanks very much for taking some time to speak to us today. First of all, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks God. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks.
Okay.
Absolutely delighted to get a chance to chat to you. We don't have an awful lot of time to get through absolutely everything in your career, so let's get straight into it. Take us back to your early life, growing up in Reunion. What was life like for you as a youngster?
Like every kid's dreaming to be a professional player, but I had another dreams. I wanted to be a priest, to be fair. So that can be a scope today, but and then I become a professional player. It wasn't easy. My life and like people's life is always challenging, mine also. But from Reunion I went to France. It was like 10,000 miles, so it's different culture. In Reunion we speak French and Creole, so we went to Montpellier, the food changed, everything changed, and for 7 years I learned the job to be a professional player in academy, training 2 times a day, and I always know where I come from, okay, not from a rich family, but God was always important in our life and until now, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's interesting. Before we go into the football side of things, you say that when you were a youngster you wanted to be a priest. At what point did that sort of that thought leave you and you wanted to become a professional footballer? Because I know that faith has always been a big part of your life.
I shouldn't say that, but because you come back to this, it's just something like I always had the kind of admiration for priests. I mean, like, to be honest, we are Catholics and the club's Catholic, and from where I come from, Reunion Island, I managed to play for the most Catholic club in the world. So yeah, it's everything but not a coincidence for me. So I'm saying that priests are there to baptisms, then communion, then confirmation, when you get married and when you pass away. So they're aware all the time in your life to give you the blessing. And people sometimes, I think, take priests for granted. And I think, yes, I have the great admiration for priests sometimes. But it doesn't mean I just want to correct this. I'm a sinner, okay? I'm not the best person in life. I try my best too. But I understand that sometimes you need to have some principle to go forward.
Yeah, that's an interesting outlook, and it's certainly fascinating. Let's talk about the football then, Didier, because like you say there, at a young age you went over to France and you were at Montpellier, but fairly early on in your football career, there was a sort of realisation that something wasn't quite right with your knee. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that?
And I think it was like something I had since I'm born with, and because my brothers also had this, so I didn't have any cartilage on my knee, but they discovered that when I was in Montpellier training with the professional teams. They sent me to hospital and they discovered that I didn't have any cartilage on my right knee. So the news was just simple for the professor: you cannot play football anymore. And it was a big shock for me, and then I went out, get microbes and have car accidents. So after this I realized that, okay, said to the doctor, I don't want any operation, leave my knee like this. And then I met a friend of mine, Michael, who wanted to be an agent. And believe me or not, we threw the cones on the map go to England. So we went to England in our car, slept in the car, trained there for about 3 months, and slept in the house of a French guy called Laurent Diafo. He played for Bury. He moved to Stockport. He managed to give me a try at Stockport. I played there 45 minutes. The manager was happy. He said, okay, you sign tomorrow. But I fell on my medical. At this point, no money, nothing. And I moved to, I went to watch the game Wigan, I can't remember against who friendly game. And the French guy I met introduced me to Phil Black. Phil Black introduced me to Willie McKay, and he asked me to follow him to Scotland. So we arrived in Scotland about like midnight, and he tried to organize a try for me with Motherwell, but the manager was in hospital. So we went to Kilcody, and about 2 a.m. and I slept in a med room. And the next day at 7 o'clock, they brought me to West Rover, and the fantastic like staff, okay, John McVeigh, Peter Anderson, Colin McCowan. So they translate for me. I said like, we play 4 games, we lost 4 games, we need a striker. And I said, okay, I can play striker, but I never play striker in my life. So then I scored 2 goals. The Saturday they put me on number 9. I scored 3 goals. So everyone thought I was a striker. So after this, like the funny thing about this, I was still at the hotel, so it was quite expensive for the club. So they said, okay, we want to give you somewhere to stay. So I remember Colin McCowan brought me in his car. We drove through, and it was a big hill full of caravan. He said to me, choose one. I was very hungry. So the Sunday after this, like I scored 3 goals, and they gave me nice houses, nice wages. And 1 year after, I was in Celtic. So it's amazing for me.
It's incredible that the sort of transformation in your career over a short period of time. Was it a bit of a culture shock for you to come over, you know, from France to come over to the UK and then up to Scotland? How quickly did you adapt to life here?
Yeah, first, I'm talking about this because I've been talking about this about 4 times or 5 times now. It's just to show people not about only my story. It's just like God was with me since the beginning. Honestly, I'm no doubt about this. But when you arrive in Scotland and you don't speak English, and you arrive in Kilcody where you hear Identican, it's very difficult to adapt, okay? But I did adapt, okay? And because you want to success, okay? So yes, very difficult.
And like you say, you hadn't played as a striker, but you obviously told Wraith Rovers, yeah, I can play up front. You also played up front as well for a short time with Hibs. I mean, you were scoring goals. You were electric. You were getting supporters out of their seats. Did you enjoy playing as a forward?
Not really, but you need to do your job. Okay, so then like I have no choice because at Hibs, the contract was simple. I give you 2 months contract, so July and August. If you do well, we give you 3 years. And Martin came. He was just appointed manager of Celtic. He came to buy Rob Douglas, the goalkeeper for Dundee, and I scored 2 goals this day. And he picked me, and so a few days later I was in Celtic, and it's amazing. Okay, incredible. Yeah.
It must have been an amazing move. So obviously Martin brought you to Celtic in the year 2000. Let's talk about the Celtic years then, Didier. First of all, what was your relationship like with Martin O'Neill?
Oh, I'm privileged to know this guy, and people should be privileged to have him like a manager. I'm not saying that to be forced like a false modesty, but it's really like need to understand. Because when after this game I was injured, so I came back to Celtic. I was injured. No one knows me. I was a bargain for them. Yeah. So I failed my medical in Celtic, and Martin stand out for me and said, "I want him." So not only he picked me, but he gave me a chance. Like, in my opinion, like no one knows me. Why your manager will do that for you? Okay, so I appreciate him not only as a manager because he have step ahead from everyone, but as a person also. Okay, because I know he's a good man deep inside. Okay, and that is the most important thing. And after this, the relation is like the man-to-man management is very special. Like he gave me to treat my knee Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and come to training only Thursday. So obviously I need to perform on the weekend. But yes, he gave me time to look after my knee for 3 days. So that's the manager easy. Okay. Yeah.
And even I was reading as well, like after your debut for Celtic, Martin was absolutely glowing in praise for your performance. I think he said, like, I only expected him to last 60 minutes, but you lasted the full match. You showed great pace and great energy. But I'm wondering, see, from a physical point of view, you're talking about there's no cartilage in your knee, so it's just basically bone on bone.
Yes, exactly.
What does that feel like when you're running around? Does it impact you?
You don't know. I'm telling you a story. After this medical, my contract was ready. I took the pen to sign my contract. I don't know if the gaffer remember, but he told me something very strange. He said to me, "Go to the stand to sit by yourself." And I went to the director box. This guy called John. I follow him, brought me here. I stayed there about 30 minutes by myself, empty stadium. And I didn't understand why at the beginning he asked me to do this. But I felt something different from the stadium. And when I play, obviously with the adrenaline, the pressure, and honestly the fan, Celtic fan, when they decide to support the team, all the songs before the game help you to realize that you can carry on, you can play. And probably this helped me a lot, but also the way my knee was managed by the staff and by Martin, he helped me a lot too. But if, for example, after the game I was in my house and my house was on fire, I would die. Okay, cannot walk. Okay, so I gave everything, but it was very painful sometimes. But I didn't want to complain because I want to play all the time. I mean, it's a job.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to perform, to win games, and to make sure the fans happy.
Yeah. Well, you absolutely contributed to making the fans happy in that first season that you were at Celtic, 2000, 2001. We won the treble for the first time since 1969. You obviously you were heavily involved. You set up the opening goal as well for us in the Scottish Cup final that season, the pass through to Jackie McNamara. What was the feeling like in the dressing room throughout that season? Because we had struggled for a long time through the 1990s, and here was almost like the beginning of a new era.
Yeah, things turned around when Martin arrived, but I realized afterwards why Martin asked me to sit by myself, you understand? He wanted me to understand what it means to play for Celtic, what it means to have this jersey. And I think that's important because you kind of the part of Celtic club identity. Without this identity, you don't know who you play for. And I think our generation, we have a lot of foreign players inside this, English and also in Scottish, but Martin make sure that you know what you're playing for and what you're playing for what, okay? So that was very important for us to understand. After this, the cup final, the treble, the Champions League game, everything was based on this, like to play for the fun and make sure you give yourself 100% on the pitch all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. During that first season with the club, obviously, Martin began to sort of move you back because you'd obviously played as a striker, then you played out wide on the wing, but then you were sort of moving towards more of a wing back position. How did you deal with that? How did you enjoy that kind of change in your positioning?
So we had like Bobby, Alan Thompson, and after Steve Guppy on the left side, it was myself and sometimes Momo on the right side. But we play with 3-5-2 formation, and the hardest thing in this position is like you need to be back post in case of Bobby or Alan going to cross the ball. It's just in case, but sometimes the cross not arrive, so you need to get back as a right back just in case the ball is coming in the back post again. So it's up and down, and believe me, this pitch is very massive. So I enjoy it because like I know where I come from, and I was very privileged and lucky to play football and to be able to play for a club as a Celtic is amazing. Okay, I mean like with my knee, I shouldn't play football. Yeah. So playing this kind of game, Champions League game, for me is like a bonus all the time. Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the Champions League then, because the start of your second season, we obviously go over to Amsterdam to face Ajax in the Champions League qualifier. I think it's fair to say it's one of your finest games in a Celtic jersey that night in Amsterdam. You obviously scored the second goal for us. Talk to us about that game. What are your memories of it, and how important was that match for the team going forward in Europe?
We were drive to kind of like high confidence to believe in our strength. In this team, you're talking about me, but we have Henrik Larsson, Chris Sutton, Hudson, Bobby Thompson, Big Bobo, a lot of good players on this team, Stilian, Lambert, Niels. So it was a team performance. Like we were very strong in every department and a lot of character in dressing room. So and Martin managed also to control that. Okay, very very good with John Robertson and Stevie. So as a team, I think we are looking like very strong in each department, each line. So allow us to sometimes perform like the way we perform in Ajax, Juventus or Champions League game, because the belief, and it's main thing, the belief was very high in this team. Yeah.
Was that the main thing about that group, the belief that they had? Because obviously they had great quality, but was it a lot of sort of mentality and personality that made that team so special?
The talent. Talking about Henrik Larsson, cannot say just like the belief. He was very talented. Lubo, don't know if the right or left-footed, and the talent was there. Okay, but the talent without this belief and the desire to work hard for each other, and on the top of that, to play for a club as Celtic, to know what it means to play for Celtic, even you're not Scottish or Irish. It means a lot, okay? And you can see still now I'm come back here after 10 years, Lubos come here often. So people identify themselves in this club because the manager make us understand what means to wear this jersey and what means to play for the club. And if you forget the roots, if you forget that, I think we are going nowhere, okay? So right now, I think, in my opinion, for what happened last season, I don't know if people still remember. I'm not talking about 25 years or 10 years ago. I'm talking about last year. If you look Martin, the manager, the gaffer, life and career, he didn't need to come back to Celtic. He came to help. He don't think for the money. He need to because he loved the club. Then he did the job. Then he left. Then when he came back was 10 times worse. Okay. Yeah. And still managed to win. So the discussion is very easy now. We need to back up behind the team. Everything else apart of this is going to be against the club, in my opinion. So we need to back up, and he knows what he's doing. He will get what he wants. But right now, in my opinion, we need to focus about game after game and make sure we can dominate the league again. Because the fan for 25 years know what means winning, but don't know what means losing games. So they want more and more, I understand. But right now, I hear like a lot of people stop me and talking about Champions League game. But right now, the main thing is to dominate the league here. And after things will come step by step. But remember where we come from last year. Yeah. Okay, I think it's important. Yeah,
I think you're right. And when you talk about that winning culture that exists at Celtic, you and that team that you played in are a massive part of that, because you started, the early 2000s started with a bang for Celtic because of the way that you guys were playing and winning. You're mentioning some of those wonderful players in that team, and we'll chat a little bit about them individually. But I'm always curious, what was the training like, day to day? How competitive were the training matches and the training sessions?
We train as normal, because Stevie, he was great coach, like never complicated things. Training was quite easy, in my opinion. He never challenged us like mentally, but the winning spirit was the most important thing. We were training with this belief where we can win any games, and that is important as a team. When when you're on the tunnel to go to the Celtic Park or away games, we are going to win the games, no doubt about it. Okay, so it's why we beat Rangers so many times, because I think we knew that our strength as a team, it was very, very strong and very good. And also, the hardest thing in football is to score goals. But when you have someone like Henrik in your team, it definitely makes things easy. So it was easy for us to try to give him the best chances possible to score. He will get 1 or 2 in the game. So after this, I said you have Chris around him, Stylian. So yes, it was easy at the time to find the solution to win the game, because I spoke to Bobby yesterday, and we were talking about like the belief to take people 1v1, even if you lose the ball. And I think the fan will not reproach the wingers to do this, but the wingers don't pass people, pass back all the time. We need to be behind them and support them, ask them, okay, you can go, you can try, okay, maybe you will not do it, pass for maybe 4 times, the one you're going to pass and cross, striker will be there to score goals. So yes, it's a belief in the player was important. They know if you play for Celtic, you need to be good enough, but they need to believe.
Yeah, absolutely. You were mentioning there Champions League, Ajax, and of course that year we done really well at home in the Champions League in the group, and of course that famous night against Juventus where we beat them at Celtic Park. You mentioned Lubo Moravcik a minute ago there. Lubo, that night that we beat Juventus 4-3, Lubo was sensational. It was one of his best games in a Celtic jersey. Talk to us a little bit about Lubo Moravcik. What was he like to share a dressing room with and to train with?
He's my best friend, okay, so I'm still a lot of all the time on the phone with him. We are quite similar. I think he knows where he's come from. I just imagine if Lubo was in Celtic, younger, but that's life. Okay, but even at this age, ability to change games. Talking about change games, like it's unbelievable. Yes, and that's kind of guys where unpredictable. You don't know what's going to do, left or right, shoot or cross. You don't know. But that's kind of player we had. Martin didn't use him a lot, but when he came to the pitch, he made the difference.
Yeah, he was a really, really special talent. Of course, that second season we won the league again, and then the following year, of course, we go on that famous run to Seville, to the UEFA Cup final. Let's talk a little bit about that. What was, first of all, from your point of view, what was your standout moment? What's the memory that always comes back to you when you think about reaching the UEFA Cup final?
It's a hard question because each game is different games. I probably remember maybe Boa Vista, because the pressure was very high, talking that the next game, if he wins, is going to be the final. So the games of Henrik away was very special. Okay, but I remember the focus on this game. We were very under pressure, I think, but we managed to win this game because we were, like I said, very strong mentally, for sure. Yeah.
Could you feel was the belief, we were speaking about belief, was the belief growing as that run went on that you could go all the way?
I believe the belief comes from the management. And Martin can make you believe you can be the best version of yourself. He's gifted for this, okay? And he knows how to manage the player one by one. So when you have big personality such as Chris or Neil or Alan in the dressing room, and when the gaffer opened the door, everyone's quiet because it's very charismatic. You understand that he's a boss, and then what he wants to win. It's nothing else. He wants to win. So you learn that, and you learn also about the size of the club, the support. And then when you understand this, you know where you are. And you have no doubt about just winning games for the fans. Because Martin never considered a player like star player. We're all the same stage. Same as the kit man, same as the chef in the kitchen or Angie. We were really like a big team all together. And he showed that by his attitude. He never told us this, but the way he was with people, we tried to copy that. Yeah. And his work, okay? I don't know if he's work now, but at the time, we follow him totally. Yeah. And he was right because we won everything.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the UEFA Cup final, because, well, before we get into the kind of the sadness of not winning it, you again were talking about you contributing and setting up goals. You set up Henrik's first goal that night when we equalised just after half time, ball into the box, and Henrik with that unbelievable header. You and Henrik seem to have a wonderful connection on the pitch. There was so many times that you would set up Henrik Larsson, and he would score. What was your relationship like with him?
Not really, because I'm thinking like also Tomo set a lot of goals for him, Bobby or Chris give him a lot of balls, Stylian. We try to feed him as much as we can. The relationship, probably like the last goal he scored at Celtic Park, I'm the one who gave the ball to him. So it's not about the cross and the goal, it's just about the emotion after this, because he come to cry and I was very emotional. So I met him again last January in Thailand. When we see each other, it's like not only a friend, it's more than this. But Henrik is very special as a player. Now we realize how good he was. But he went to play for Barcelona and he proved himself. Went to Manchester, he proved himself. That he knows what Celtic brought him. Everything starts here. But obviously, I said, like, as a coach, you cannot teach the player how to play as Henrik, because sometimes he feels where to be and how to score goals, right, left, and everything. And he's a gifted player for scoring goals.
Yeah. Is he the best player you've ever played with?
Top scorer like this? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He was so special.
Yeah.
That night in Seville, is that the biggest regret in your career, that we didn't leave Seville with that trophy?
Yes and no. Yes, because we lost the game, so no doubt about this. We wanted to win, but no, because with a bit of luck, a bit of more preparation, and less fatigue, probably, I think we can be better team. I think we did well, but I think we can, with a bit of more preparation, we can be better and win the game. Yes.
We bounced back from that really well, because the next season, of course, we won the league and we won the Scottish Cup. But let's keep it in the European theme, because obviously we're speaking about, you know, you getting forward, helping us get up the park and setting up goals. But let's talk about defensively here as well, because you were obviously solid defensively, and in 2004 you helped to control Ronaldinho. We played Barcelona over 2 games. You kept him at bay. First of all, what was he like to play against?
Like I said, very gifted, but he knows how important is it. He's quite big ego for this kind of player, and try to do everything to put the fan on his pocket. He managed to do that a lot of time. So you need to analyze small weakness from him. He didn't have a lot, but remember that when he tried to make long ball left to right, I just need to do slight tackle all the time, and it seems to annoy him a lot. But apart of this, he's very, very good player, and then it's difficult because like you never know what's going to do with the ball. Okay, one of the most difficult player. I met him in Thailand a few years ago. What a guy also.
Really?
Yeah, very good guy. Yes, but like I said, talking about the cup final and the way we prepared this, and I went to Chelsea and I met the Deco, and he was saying to me how they prepared the game. Mourinho gave a DVD to each player to talk about the direct opponent, right or left. So that kind of details can sometimes make the difference. Okay.
I see. We were talking about obviously facing Barca, Ronaldinho. Did you get his jersey? I've always wondered this. Did you get his top?
Yeah. Half time and he changed, and also for Kaká also half time. But I never kept any. I gave everything for charity, because I felt less at you, not a forced modesty, but I feel privileged to be here. So if you can give things to charity, I don't have any picture, no video, nothing. It's things in my head, so it's enough for me. Yeah.
Brilliant. I won't keep you too much longer. I know you're going to go out and obviously watch the boys' training session. To be fair, you might end up getting called out onto the pitch to take part.
In slow motion.
As long as that view's all right.
But there's one story about Barcelona. You know, I think we played them on a Wednesday. So we travel on a Monday. But this Monday I had like a conversation with the club doctors about my ground and it's gone, need an injury. And Roddy told the doctor that, okay, the doctor told me, said, okay, we need to call a specialist from Belgium and he will come to Leeds to make an operation, okay? So I said, okay, so I'm not going to Barcelona then. So I went home. I can remember Martin calls me and said, where are you? I said, at home. He knows, okay, but just, okay, we will book a flight for you. You need to come tomorrow, okay? So I said, okay. So the next day I flew to Spain, arrived in Barcelona, and the team was in the hotel, so we had dinner, we watched the video, and he came to see me and said to me, tomorrow you'll not start. Okay, I said, okay. So I had a good sleep, went to the stadium, and when we arrived in the dressing room, and he came with this piece of paper like usual. Number 1, Arab Douglas. Number 2, Didier Agathe. So I said, what is he doing? So he's the kind of manager that knows how to deal with you. So then I get dressed, put my socks and Celtic top. So, inside Barcelona Stadium, you have a wee chapel.
Yeah.
I went to pray.
Really?
And Martin came to pray also with me. So, and then you have some Barcelona prayer also, like Ronaldinho, Xavi came to pray too. But yes, so talking about management here and psychology, how to manage prayer is terrific, unbelievable.
And the prayers were answered as well.
And we had a good result. I think we drew 1-1. I think.
That's right.
And I played 90 minutes with ground injuries, so that's the kind of thing. Yeah, we pray for him. He knows. I think you have a jersey, Celtic jersey, tops and logo, but you play for your manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you trust him.
And obviously, it all paid off because, of course, by the time that you left Celtic, you leave with 3 league titles, 3 Scottish Cups, 1 Scottish League Cup, and of course the runners-up medal for the UEFA Cup final. How do you reflect on your time with Celtic as a player?
Honestly, like things like 2 minutes where I come from. Montpellier, sleep in the car, came to Rest Rover, then Ibs 2 months, then Celtic. I can be more grateful about my life and as a player, as a man, get up and down as everyone, but as a player playing for Celtic so many years, we visited him under this manager and the management team, meeting so much nice people and probably knowing one of the best fans in the world. Okay, like after 10 years now, more than 10 years, I come back. I think it's a podcast. They asked me, invite me here to do the event, and it's amazing. Okay, I met people everywhere talking about this time, but that's 25 years ago. Okay, but still people remember because we were successful. And yes, I feel privileged and I thank God every day for the life He gave me. Okay, and if I can share everything with people, it's a pleasure. Honestly,
We'll just wrap up, but one thing I wanted to ask, because you've mentioned them a few times, and I can tell by the way that you speak about Celtic that you're sort of aligned with the Celtic supporters. How special are the Celtic supporters to you?
Maybe before talking about the Celtic supporters, we're talking about the roots of the club. Okay, I remember we used to train at Ballyfield. Okay, full of mud. But the 1967 team was training there too. So if you can train there, anyone can train there. Okay, but we changed to be in Knoxtown because things change and getting better. My opinion, we get away from the fan a bit because near to the Celtic Park, the fan can have contact with the players. I like that. It's not my decision, but I remember when Juninho signed. John Robertson came to the dressing room and said, make sure he signed before you show him Ballyfield. So yes, and now I think the fans, we not ashamed to say it. The club was created for a reason by a priest, I think, and we cannot forget that. We are Catholic for a reason, okay? Up and down, okay? It's a difficult moment sometimes, but the fans are everything. We are nothing, the players. If you don't have the fan like yourself or many people in the stadium, the club will look boring. But this club is everything because of the fans, okay? But the fans, when the fan back up the team, not when the fan. I understand, huh? But the best thing to do is to back up the manager and the team to make sure we win, okay? Apart of this, we are going to the wrong direction, okay? So, yes, and I don't know many clubs where I'm going to the church, the priest said to you, I will be to the game tomorrow. Like, yes, it's only Celtic.
Very okay? Special.
Yeah. And I feel lucky from Reunion Island, a small island, to follow my path through God and be at the most Catholic club in the world. Okay, so that is a privilege, not only to win the cups, of course, that's your job, but to discover what God is able to do for people is unbelievable. Yeah. So through this, we pray for a lot of people who, like the woman lost a daughter, Bella, and a lot of people pray for her. We had a lot of things where we can together pray for people who suffer. Not many clubs can say that. Okay? No many clubs can say, okay, the priest can pray for you, can pray for Celtics, and that is the root. And I think I just want people to remember this, that who we are as a club, okay? And we're not just a club, okay? Yeah. More than this.
I think you're spot on, absolutely spot on, and it's brilliant to hear you talking about Celtic, Didier, and it's been wonderful to chat to you. What is life like for you nowadays? What are you getting up to?
Difficult, very difficult. I'm not ashamed to say it, but I cannot complain because God gave me another day today, so means still God plan for me, and I'm privileged to be alive, only alive, because when you see great people such as Angie, John Clark, Robertson, John, life is very short. Sometimes we think we are players, something very important. We are some way, but we are because we did the job right for the fans, okay? And if you remember this, where you come from, you know where you're going.
Yeah. I think a lot of people will really appreciate hearing your honesty and openness and just your affection for the club overall. Do you still, to this day, keep up to date with all the Celtic scores and results?
I try if I can, but I'm saying that like it's not because I'm talking like this. I'm the best person. I'm also make mistake. I sin, but I try. I try to be a good person and to make sure I'm not more important than you.
Yeah.
Okay, like sitting near to you, honestly, not a form of modesty, is a privilege, because you learn from someone all the time. Okay, I've said here your question, why you try to say it to me, and give me the chance to speak about my life and Celtic. Thank you.
Well, okay. The privilege is all ours, Didier, I can assure you, and thank you very much for taking time to come in and chat to us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much for watching or listening to this episode of the official Celtic FC podcast with Didier Agathe. Make sure you like and subscribe, and hail.
Hail.